Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Senvo. I talk about video game music and all kinds of stuff, but today's something a little different. We're interviewing the showrunner for Mynewsoundtrack. His name is Luis Garrido. Hopefully I said that correctly. My Spanish isn't all that great, but they've been making brand new tracks just for you for like 11 years now. That's just about when I started getting into composing for myself also. The focus of the channel is, as the name states, to remix VGM tracks, to make them sound new and fresh, just like it says on the tin. Today their music has been heard all over YouTube, but some notable spots are Terminal Montage's channel, as well as being featured in other video game-centric channels. Today we're going to learn more about them and what keeps them going in such a hard field on YouTube, as well as listen to some of our favorite tracks from their catalog, so stay tuned. T-Vi, could you go ahead and pull them up for me? Thank you. Hold on. I know I just did that nice intro and everything, however, I pulled a big dumb YouTuber moment and I forgot to start recording at the beginning of our interview, so it kind of cuts in. But we went over the first questions again, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm dumb. Enjoy the interview. So, a bit of bad news. I'm unprofessional. I forgot to hit record to start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm actually terrible. I'm sorry.
Nice, let's go.
So,
no, it's fine.
I want to speed run those questions real quick one more time. So, what's your name? What do you do? And what can we call you?
Okay, it's recording now?
Yeah. Now we're recording. Sorry.
Well. Okay. Well, my name is Luis. I go under Mynewsoundtrack on YouTube and everywhere else. My main thing is just adapting video game music to other styles, like arranging songs in such a way that they sound like they belong in another game entirely. That's my thing.
That's awesome. It's like, just like an NES game, but in the style of like Mega Man X or stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it. It's adapting things to other styles. It's like my favorite thing ever. I mainly make Mega Man X remixes, but I've done all sorts of things along the years.
For sure. What did we say? You had like 297 videos. A couple of those are unlisted, is what we've discovered, but that's a lot of videos.
Yeah, it's like 100 plus videos are unlisted at the moment.
Do you want to go into why they're unlisted?
Oh, because they suck. That's basically it.
No.
Because like every time, for example, we were listening to a song from me from 2013.
Yeah.
And you can hear a lot of things that you would change. Like that happens to every single artist out there, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like you hear, you listen to your old stuff and it's like, oh man, I would have done this differently, or I could have added this, or whatever. With the unlisted videos, they were like unsalvageable.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think this can be fixed, you guys.
Yeah, this is gonna need way more. And I used to just download like MIDI files and replace the instruments. They were not arrangements of any kind. So it was a learning experience, because I didn't start adding new stuff or arranging songs immediately. I was just having fun with MIDI files, like replacing the instruments.
Yeah.
For almost 2 years. I think a year and a half, maybe.
Well, I mean, it's all about having fun, I think. That's what drives people the most whenever it comes to music, so.
1000%, yes. If you get in the game immediately, like for money or something, a lot of people make that mistake right away. If you're not proud of something, just don't post it. Like, it's normal to not feel proud of your old songs, but you were proud back then, you know?
Oh yeah.
I was super proud of the songs that I released at the beginning. So I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. The next question that we accidentally cut out was, do you stick to remixes and tributes, or do you plan to have any original work, or where we can find that?
Well, I post everything on YouTube. If something is not on YouTube, I don't know. It has to be like a very, very niche, like dark commission if it's not on YouTube. Because even commissions I post on YouTube.
Very cool, very cool.
Now that I remember, there was a game that I was contacted for to help with music. I guess I'm allowed to speak about this because it's over. There was a game called Ghoulish Hijinks, I think it was called. And they commissioned me for a couple of songs, and then the project got cancelled. And I think those are like the only original songs that I've not posted like anywhere. I think that's it. That's my only piece of like obscure media.
Yeah.
But everything else is on YouTube.
That always sucks whenever you're working on something and then they either A, never work on it again, or B, it gets canceled.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about whether or not you consider yourself like a musician, a composer, or a producer. What was that again?
Yeah, my main career at the moment, my main job is software engineer. I am a web developer, mainly. And so considering myself a musician would be like kind of a stretch, because it's always been like a hobby for me. I'm not very well versed in music theory. I know the basics.
Yeah.
But all of the arrangement theory, harmony theory, and all of that, it's like lost. I don't have that.
Yeah, it's something I struggle with when it comes to like writing music. I feel like personally I struggle with transitions a lot, because I'm like, I just don't know what I would do to make this go into this next part. I don't know, you know. And I feel like if I studied music theory and like went into it more, I could like, it would be so easy, you know.
Oh god, yeah. There's I've always treated like music as some kind of like, I have to be inspired to work on it. Looking at it like objectively is very strange to me. And I know it would be very beneficial to be like, oh yeah, you can transition from this chord into this other one using this, you know, like that definitely helps. But I cannot myself just do it. It's very hard.
Yeah, it's like it takes the fun out of it. And like we said before, I think fun is the force of it.
Yeah.
It's like, what is there to discover when you already know everything that there is to discover, you know?
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Okay. The last question we missed out on was, has composing always been an important part of your life, or only when you started YouTube? And what was that again?
Oh yeah, I think it's more important now than ever before, because right now I'm getting commissioned to actually compose things. I mentioned earlier the Navio example from Terminal Montage. It's a very cute, adorable series, and like this is the first time ever in my life where I have to pay attention to setting the mood, the intentionality behind the songs, and all of that stuff that I never thought about like in the past. Like,
yeah, it's kind
you
of
have
just
to
like
actually pay attention to a lot of
written.
things and a lot of factors.
Well, how is that? Like, how's working with Terminal on his series?
It's super fun. And they basically send you like a bunch of references. They tell you what what the song is about. They show you stills from the animations. Sometimes they send you work in progress animations. So that really helps because you can imagine stuff like while you watch. It's insane.
Yeah.
And what helps the most is like the references. They send you like 2 or 3 songs that they want like to sound similar.
Yeah.
So that really helps.
It's a big one. In any artistic faction of anything, references like so helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey everybody, since I'm your boy's big dumb and pulled a YouTuber moment, didn't hit record during the first part of the session. We ended up redoing that so you didn't miss any of those questions. However, we didn't actually play the song for you guys, so we're going to do that now. Enjoy. All right. Now we can go into what the questions are next, the actual questions. Before I messed up and pulled an absolute YouTuber moment. What do you consider to be your kind of like trademark sound or anything when it comes to your music remixes?
Oh man. You would have to ask someone else about that. It's like someone who actually listens to my music, because I just do my thing and people like it.
That's fair. I mean, okay, I'll say, I think you were doing like the Post Malone vibrato before anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, 2011 was a era of the MIDI slaps, like you were saying right earlier, where basically you grab a MIDI offline or online, and then you put instruments on it and call it a day. But even when you did that, though, you took it to another level and like added a lot of vibrato and stuff. And I feel like people just weren't doing that. You know what I mean? They weren't putting the influctuations and stuff in the notes. And you have this really fast vibrato that you do a lot of the time. And that's how I'm like, this has to be my new soundtrack whenever I hear you, like on like a terminal montage video or something like that.
Yeah, now that you mention it, vibrato might be the thing. I just love it way too much. Because when you play guitar, it's like a good vibrato feels amazing in your hands. And it adds like a lot of just personality to it. Like Genesis Remix, for example, with a square wave doing the leads with a very good vibrato and a bit of delay. Sounds incredible.
It's great, yeah.
That was my favorite thing ever, and a lot of influences that I had early on. Like I've used vibrato, so I don't know, I just picked it up.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Like your brain just gets influenced. Yeah.
Yeah, it just brings the instrument to life in a way that it wasn't before. You know, it's super good.
Yeah. What I would change though is that some vibratos were way too fast.
Oh yeah.
And for example, we were listening to the song. Am I allowed to say which one it was?
Yeah. The what's it called? Zelda Wind Waker Dragon Roost Island.
Yeah, my 8-bit remix of it. Some vibratos were way too fast because I didn't know how to change that back then.
Oh, well, I mean, it's part of the charm. It's like I said, it was kind of your trademark style at the time. Even if it was just a thing that was a limitation for you before, it still just makes you unique. But nowadays, I can see where you would be like, that sounds way too fast. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, God.
Do you think you will always continue to upload songs and stuff to YouTube?
Well, you know what they say, nothing lasts forever, right?
That's
I have
true.
to stop someday. You know, the thing is that the program that I used to make this, it's a very old program. Like most people in my server or people who have seen my streams maybe know this. I use a very old program called Guitar Pro, version 5.2. It's from the Windows XP days, and with every release of Windows, I sadly just watch it die slowly. So I think like a big factor for me is gonna be when I have no access at all to any PC that can run it. But honestly, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'm just gonna keep doing my thing.
For sure, you need that program like made into like a VST or something, you know?
It's basically the entire. It's like the entire. How do you call it? Like a DAW.
Yeah.
But it's a pre-DAW. Because for every sound I use FL Studio, right? But to actually compose and arrange the songs, I use Guitar Pro. Like it's the very first thing I do.
And then you take the MIDI and transfer it over to FL Studio?
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. That's cool.
So if I cannot sequence like I want,
one day we gotta solidify that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you get a old computer just for that. Keep that around. You know what I mean? So that you can compose on that and then, or sequence it on that and then transfer it to your other computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do eventually.
Like never update that computer ever.
Oh, God, yeah.
Here's a deep question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years. Well, still making music, hopefully. Still composing for hopefully bigger projects. The ones I have at the moment are very big, actually, so I'm very happy about that. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna compose for a living.
Yeah.
Because I am from Chile, by the way, and living from music in Chile is just not a thing. So it's, I don't know, if I can get like, I don't know, like it's appreciation maybe. If I can inspire others, I think that would be very, it would be a big accomplishment. Like I would feel very, very satisfied with that.
Yeah. Well,
if I can be like a bigger inspiration in 5 years.
Fair. It's always good to, like, you know, I think it's easier than people think, you know, to be inspirational. Because, I mean, you've inspired me to, you know, take MIDI sequencing and stuff like that more seriously, and like it can be better, you know what I mean? Like at the time back in the day, it was like a lot of the stuff was like really bad, you know what I mean? Just like thrown in, and then there was like a billion channels and it didn't really sound like an NES or anything like that, you know what I mean? And there was always like a feeling of like, oh, well, you could do way more, you know what I mean? So you inspired me, and I'm obviously you inspired a bunch of other people. So I think it's just take a moment to step back and be like, yeah, I do have an effect, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, well, thank you so much for your words. Like that really means a lot to me. And you know, like these peer-to-peer programs like LimeWire, Casa, Artists, or whatever. There was a program. Yeah. There was a peer-to-peer program that was massive in South America. It was called Ares. I don't know how to pronounce that word. It's like that.
Aries, maybe?
Yeah. And that peer-to-peer program had like millions of things. Like you could search anywhere and like anything you wanted in that. Just like LimeWire, it was basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like in 2005, I was obsessed with like Zelda, like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Listening to music from the older games. And I remember looking for just Zelda remix, those two words. And discovering like so many remixes. And to this day, I still have 2 files from 2005. I don't know who made them. I don't know who. It's like an entire Ocarina of Time medley that someone made, and it's
wow,
one of the most inspirational things. Like tons of the things I do nowadays come from that, and I do not know who made it. I don't know where it's from. I don't know when it was made. It's insane. Like that person made that one thing and inspired my entire music thing. Yeah.
And they probably have no idea, you know what I mean? That's the thing about it. That's sad about it.
Yeah. So it might be happening with me too. Like someone getting very, very inspired by some of my stuff, and I'm never gonna know, you know.
I I didn't select this song for us to listen to today, but the Oil Ocean song that you put out, I can't remember. It was relatively recent, probably a couple of years ago. But that was so good, and I was like, oh, shit, I gotta make some shit now.
Yeah. Is that the 8-bit one? Is it the 8-bit version?
Probably. I can't remember. It might be.
I think that's from around 2017, maybe.
I can't remember. It's been a long time. Wait, let me see if I can find it. I'm sure.
Oh, it's 2018.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that one.
Ah, dang. That was such a good song.
I had a lot of fun working on it. I'm still very, very proud of it.
Hell yeah. Because, I mean, it was like, the original song didn't really do much for me, like on the Sega Genesis, but this version was like, now I can view that song in a different light, and it just sounds so much better, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. It's very interesting.
Yeah, some songs just need that push sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's, well, can I spoiler? Because you made me choose
spoilers.
Songs. Yeah.
Well, I was just about to say we're coming up on that song, on your next song that you submitted. But if you want to give preface or spoilers, that's fine too.
Because one of those songs was cursed by very awful hardware, because it was a song on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
And it sounded terrible on the Game Boy Advance. But I want to think that he gave it that push that it needed. That's why I chose that one, because it makes me very proud of how it sounds in the end.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance had some very shitty sounding hardware for sure, but it's charming in its own way.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. I think the song in question is up next.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
All right, let's take a listen. Wow.
There it is.
Absolute banger, dude.
Thank you.
I don't know how you managed to make the guitar solos and like the little guitar riffs and stuff feel so like fresh to the track, like, and it feels like they belong too. It's like, it's very interesting.
I want to think that's like
obviously
one of my how do you say, one of my iconic things from my channel.
Like a masterpiece almost, or like a something like that. Oh, you mean like your trademark? You're like your.
Yeah, that's the one. The trademark.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Every time it's one of those things. Like there's the fast vibrato, the early Mynewsoundtrack fast vibrato, and then also just epic guitar solos and like synth solos and stuff like that. Are just, I don't know, they're very good, very good. Do you when you compose those parts, do you just feel it out, or like play on top of it like with your actual guitar and see what fits, or like how do you go about doing that?
If I'm really, really stuck, I have no idea what to do. I try to improvise over it with a guitar. Mm-hmm. But usually how it goes is that I kind of like lay out the scale that the song is using, that certain section is using, mm-hmm. And I just lay the notes there, and I'm just start like picking up the notes one by one to see what works. And I often think like, okay, what is this connecting to? What is this solo doing? What is it saying? Mm-hmm. Is it battling against another one, or is it just doing its own thing? I consider all of those things, and I just like play the song slower a bunch of times to see if I can imagine something. Mm-hmm. And the notes just come to you, honestly.
Playing the song slower, I feel like, is a good idea. I've never tried that.
Yeah, I play the song slower, and I change the background instruments to different instruments sometimes. If I have like strings playing in the background, sometimes I change that to like a piano.
Yeah.
And then it's like your brain just kind of like clicks sometimes, and it's like, oh, you can do this. And if you can imagine it, you can sequence it like no problem.
Right.
So that's
because like you don't have to like physically
be
able to play it. Instead, you just put it in.
Yeah. I feel like when I play guitar over stuff, it's I have to be super desperate to do that. Because it's kind of limiting, because I don't really know many scales on the guitar.
Yeah.
It all mainly comes from imagining the notes before.
Yeah. Very interesting. So is the Mega Man X style your favorite style to work in, or do you have like a different favorite style?
It quickly became my favorite style because it honestly has like an instrument for pretty much any song. Like it's only missing like a choir song.
Yeah.
Like a choir sound, and that's it.
That would be crazy to hear choir in a Mega Man song.
Yeah.
I could see it though, like whenever you're going up to Sigma or something.
Yeah, it would have been
That'd
sick,
be epic.
But none of the Super Nintendo games did it.
So what's your least favorite style? Biggest pain in the butt,
The biggest pain. Oh man. These are super obscure. I haven't really made many of them. I used to make Nintendo DS remixes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds really hard, actually.
Very, very hard. But like the problem with that is that I used a program called NDS Sound Extractor, where you put a legally obtained file of the game.
Right.
And it extracts the samples from the game.
Just like all of the samples? That's crazy.
Every single sample, every sound effect, every song, you can get MIDIs of songs, and you can get the wave samples. So I started like experimenting with a bunch of games. The ones I liked the most were the samples from Zelda Spirit Tracks.
That's a good choice.
I love the music in that game, and I made three remixes. I remixed Lost Woods from Ocarina of Time, Termina Field from Majora's Mask, and Sailing to Scaraba from Earthbound. Those two with the Spirit Tracks instruments. I love those remixes to this day. I'm very proud of them, but mixing the Nintendo DS samples was awful. It's terrible.
Yeah, they're so crunchy.
Mainly because they didn't have looping points. So you would have to set the looping points yourself. And for things like strings and flutes, where the looping point has to be perfect, or otherwise it just sounds horrible.
Yeah, that's one of the things I avoid at all costs, is trying to make my own looping point at the zero crossing, so that it doesn't pop every time that it comes back through. Oh my god. Yeah,
God, it's everyone, like any musician who has to deal with looping points knows the struggle.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And the samples from this program like have no looping points at all, nothing.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, it's really tricky.
So that's the least favorite. Have you considered doing a different style that you want to add to your like catalog of styles?
I've been thinking about Mega Man Zero, but it's very tricky as well, because one of my friends, who's actually a mod in my server, Neon CX, he made an amazing remix of X vs. Zero from Mega Man X5, using instruments from the Mega Man Zero games on Game Boy Advance. And it sounds amazing and everything. So I got motivated to play with the instruments a bit, and they're very cool. I would like to get into that as well at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of like.
And
Go ahead.
oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna say I would like to get into that and CPS, CPS3, CPS2 type of like remixes as well. Those are very, very fun.
CPS, what is that? SNES something?
No, CPS is Capcom Play System. It's like an arcade thing.
Oh, interesting.
Basically arcade games that have like a very unique sound to them. If you have ever listened to the soundtrack of Marvel vs. Capcom 1, for example, that's entirely CPS sounds.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I listen to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 a lot. Like, way more than I probably should. But I not so much 1. But I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very iconic.
I've always wanted to do an SNK, like, arcade, like, Metal Slug. I do, like, original compositions in the style of a particular game. So I've always wanted to do one for Metal Slug, but I can't find any good, like, sample packs or like sound font files or whatever. It's just one day I'll get it, but yeah, it's one of those things I've always wanted to do.
Man, yeah, that's also very iconic, Metal Slug.
For sure. The next song that we have picked out, let me get it ready real quick. Here we go. I listened to this one a lot as well.
Let's see. Oh, that one.
Good times. 8 years ago. Wow.
That's 2013 as well, right?
I think so.
Let me see.
Math is not my strong suit.
Oh, this is the 8-bit version.
There's
yeah, it's 2014 as well.
Yeah, there's a Mega
yeah,
Man
this was
X
a Mega Man X
version as
remix first.
I like both of them, but I think I like this one more. I don't know why.
Okay, are we ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, let's go. there it is.
Dude, so epic. Like, all of it just comes together so well. I mean, there's that like one part where it's like, you know, a little empty, but other than that, it's amazing, you know? It's just fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. I try to have like a I don't want to call it a formula, but it kind of like became a formula right now. If you listen to my newer remixes, they always do this thing where it loops, it plays the first loop normal, then on the second one it does the solo. After the solo it does like a unique hook that is usually gonna play again at the end of the remix, and then it plays this song again but with something changed, and then it goes back to the hook stuff at the end, and it just ends the song. We're just repeating the hook over and over. This particular remix does not follow that at all.
Yeah, it kind of just goes off the rails.
Yeah, I didn't have that formula back then, so it was just doing what I felt like.
For sure. At the, what is it, like, I want to say almost 4 minute mark. It sort of was like empty for a while. There was some like riffs and stuff going off in the background, but it was like, honestly, it's kind of perfect for playing other games with this music going in the background, which is what I did all the time. But because it gives you a break from hearing the melody all the time, you know what I mean? But other than that, shit goes hard the entire time. Is crazy.
Yeah, back then I used to listen to way too much Legend of Renegade.
Oh yeah. And
he always does that.
Yeah.
He always does that. He removes the leads and plays the background music.
Mm-hmm.
And 2014 me was just like, oh, I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, Legend of Renegade as well, but like, I don't know, sometimes, I don't know, it's the song choices, you know? There's such a big catalog there that it's like hard to like get into all of it, but very cool.
Oh yeah.
So why video game music?
Honestly, it's always been like a very big part of my life. I grew up with I got my first PC when I was like 5 or 6. It was a family PC, of course, it wasn't mine. Right. But I got interested in it like way early on. Like I want to say my first like quote unquote musical experience was the game Rayman 1 on PC. I used to play that game like for hours and hours and hours, loving the music. And that game has a bunch of like roadblocks in the game where you cannot progress unless you do something else. And me being a dumb baby, I was 6. I didn't know how to keep going. So I remember the demo had this like it was kind of like a demo of one of the bosses later on.
Yeah.
And the boss theme from this fight, I was obsessed with it. I was like super into it. But the demo doesn't show you the entire battle, so it doesn't play the entire song. And I remember early on, like when I was 6 or 7, just imagining how the rest of the song would play, like creating new versions of the song in my head and everything.
Yeah. Is he like a mosquito boss?
No, it's the Scorpion, Mr. Scups.
Oh, okay.
I was obsessed with that song, but I never listened to the whole thing back then because the demo didn't play enough and I wasn't that far in the game myself. So I had to basically like imagine what the song would sound like for like years.
For sure.
Then I grew up like playing Sega Genesis games. All the Sonic games. I was addicted. And then I think the game that made a huge impact on me was when I got my first console in 2005, I got my GameCube. And I got the first game, like the game I wanted to play was Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
I remember listening to all of the arrangements of the songs, like songs from the NES era. Yeah, and you started like you finally start realizing like old video game music can sound amazing when you just replace with newer instruments.
Yeah, it was the same for me. Like Melee shined a light that was like I'd never listened to those songs like this before, and it was like, oh, these are actually really good. Like they're still catchy, they're still amazing, even if they're not like, you know, the way they were before. It's just crazy.
It's actually like insane. It's mind-blowing. Like when you listen to the temple music from Zelda 2, like the original, and then you listen to the Melee version. Dude.
Oh my god. So cool. And then there was, at the time, I think also there was a Zelda 2 temple theme like remix that was like rock at the time that just was so epic, and I was so infatuated with that, like rock remixes of old video game songs. Just sent my heart into another dimension.
Oh yeah, like on remixes on YouTube. I think I might know the one you're talking about. Like one of the very early ones.
Probably.
Like tempo music, like a rock
early.
remix.
A lot of Zelda music, so much Zelda music is like remixed to death. Have you ever run into songs that you could not cover, like you tried to do it and it was just like, this is either A, too hard, or B, the limitations are fucking dumb, or, you know?
I've given up on a lot of songs, but not because I cannot, just because I lose interest. There are a bunch of like modern songs that I just start working on them, and then I just move to something else because I completely forgot.
Yeah.
But let me see if I remember a song. Well, I've given up on commissions too when they ask me to compose something and I just cannot get a good idea out. That happened to me once. I was very like sad because I had to tell this person like, sorry man, I literally cannot make anything.
That's so, I've been there. It's so disheartening. It makes you feel like you're not, you know, like you're not cut out for it or something like that, you know? Yeah,
it sucks. But you later start learning ways to deal with that, so it gets better. Oh yeah, okay, I have an NES medley that is currently because I have my Mega Man medley that I released in 2012, and to this day I cannot believe that I made that in 3 months.
A medley, an NES medley you made in 3 months?
Yeah, no, it was like a Mega Man medley that lasts like, it's like 23 minutes long.
Oh wow, that's a long video.
It took me like like a month to make the entire thing. It was insane, and then 2 months like editing the video. It was actually like insane. And yeah.
Do you like making like longer medleys and stuff like that, or just keeping it short?
Back then I did, not anymore. No.
Yeah.
So right after I finished that one, I started making like an NES medley. Like right after, like no chill, just no breaks. And I still worked on it last year. So it's been in the making for
like 7 years or so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I work on it every now and then, and right now I'm reaching the point where it's just like, is it really worth it anymore? Because it's like it's almost 20 minutes.
I mean,
at the
you
moment.
never know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People don't really listen to medleys anymore.
Yeah.
If you go to the analytics of shorter remixes, people leave like 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in.
That's fair. I think, well, actually, there is a space for long form music content, but it's usually like lo-fi or chill musics to beat up your homie in Smash 2. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that kind of thing. So maybe it just depends on how you phrase the context of the song or the medley. But like, yeah, when you just say Mega Man medley, it's not going to go anywhere, I don't think, anymore. Maybe back in the day, in like in 2011, I think it was really big.
Oh yeah.
It's probably going to be way harder nowadays, though. Yeah.
Making medleys back in the day was like the one of the biggest accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, just, I don't know if I'm gonna give up on it, but it's very, very tricky, and I don't know what to do about it. So it's kind of like in limbo.
Well, I mean, it's already come this far. I feel like, you know, you might as well, regardless of whether people watch it or not, you know? Just for yourself, yeah. You know? Get that relief.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we have one view.
Yes. We got him. Do you listen to a lot of chiptune or classic video game music, like, on your own time, like nowadays?
Oh, yeah. I was that one kid who got made fun of for having game music on his MP3.
Same.
A lot of people can relate, I hope. But it's always been like super big. Like, I'm not gonna act like, oh, new music sucks, blah blah blah. It's because good music is always being made. I just like video game music way too much.
There's something about it, the way that they have to capture your attention without like stupid catchy hooks, like vocal hooks and stuff, you know? It's so interesting. And video game music is one of the hardest things to get into, because I feel like it's every genre of music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So for us who like listen to video game music all the time, it's like, well, what kind of music do you like? I like all kinds of music generally, you know what I mean? Because I listen to all kinds of music through video games. Yeah. But it's hard to explain to other people like how.
Yeah, there's a more complex argument there that video game music is not a genre. Some people say that, and I can see why, because it literally has everything. Yeah,
it's made up of a lot of genres, but like chiptune is what people who are like, who don't think about it, that's what they would call video game music. You know, that's what what they actually mean is chiptune. But one of my biggest pet peeves is whenever I'll play like a Sonic the Hedgehog song or whatever, right? And then like, yo, what are you doing playing this Mario music? I'm like, oh my god, bro. First of all, you're gonna make me so upset. Put some respect on Sonic's name right now.
God, yeah. Like,
it's so bad.
The funniest one to me is one of my Facebook friends back in the day, like years ago. Like 12 years ago, I think. He posted like a video that was before I did chiptune at all, and 8-bit stuff and everything. He posted like an 8-bit remix of well, it wasn't a remix, it was like just like a conversion, right? It was like a System of a Down song using 8-bit stuff. And someone I remember in the comments asked him like, bro, what is this? What is this? Like, what even is this? And he's like, oh, it's like System of a Down, but Tetris. That is my favorite like definition of 8-bit stuff ever.
That's so funny. Dude,
I love it.
I used to listen to the Tetris A theme so much. Like,
Oh, God, me too.
all the time.
When we got our first phones, my brother and me, I was so jealous because my brother got like what is the brand? Kyocera or something like that? Like a Kyocera phone that had Tetris in it. And it was an actual licensed version of Tetris for flip phones. So it had the song. And it was a very cool arrangement of the song, and I was so jealous because I wanted that version of Tetris.
Imagine I don't even want the phone, I just want the Tetris.
Yeah, that was me.
Perfect. Well, the last song is, oh man, I feel like I just picked a lot of stuff from, like, you know, ancient times, classic Mynewsoundtrack.
The crazy vibrato days.
The crazy vibrato days.
Oh yeah, that one.
I love this one. track. Like, that must have been so fun to make.
God, yeah, it was. Crazy vibratos and everything. Like, I'm still very, very proud of this one.
The way that the melody and the counter melody come together in that like new section is so good. I love that.
Yeah, like that's why I picked this one too, because like back then it was just like normal. I was just vibing making this one. And I didn't really pay much attention to it. I was like, oh, it's a popular song, it might get views, I don't care. I was of course proud of it at the time, but not really that much. And I remember one of my friends hit me up at the time, and she was like, dude, you should be very proud of this one. And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Why? And she basically told me like how everything in the remix made sense. Like, it was a very long paragraph telling me all the things she liked about it. And I really, really respect her opinion. She ended up becoming like an indie developer, and she made a game called Unsighted.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Unsighted.
Do you know that game? Yeah, she made Unsighted. And
awesome.
She told me back then like all the reasons why this remix was cool, and I don't know, I really, really value her opinion about it. And that's why I think this song is very important, because I was just not thinking much about it, and then still managed to make something that was kind of cool. So yeah, very, very proud of this one. Also very proud of including Gourmet Race 1 or 2. I don't know which one it is. I think it's 1.
Yeah.
The intro.
I think it's 2. The initial one is 2. The regular one, and then because there was like weird tempo changes in there too, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to do like a fake intro where it just moves to the other song, and then everyone is like, "Oh, what is happening?" I used to troll people back then.
I mean, a little light trolling never hurt anybody. Hopefully.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this song is really good. The way that it's like voice leading, you know? Like a bunch of things take you places and you know where you're going, but you still want to hear how it happens, and it's just, when it does, it just fills you with this like, oh wow, yes, that's exactly what I want. Give me the melodies. Like all the things that I think I would do to add to Gourmet Race is already done. You already did it. Congratulations. I can't make it anymore. I can't do it.
Oh man, the thing that baffles me that I have no idea how I was able to make this back then.
Sometimes you have the sauce. I don't know.
Yeah.
Quick question. What advice would you give to younger chiptune artists or people who are just starting out today?
People who are starting out, get inspired. Listen to as many things as you can. I tell you that because I did not do that. And every time I have the task of like composing something that is out of my comfort zone, it's problematic. I have issues with that. So try to listen to as many genres as you can, as many styles of songs, and get very comfortable with the program that you're using. That's the only reason I refuse to sequence stuff in piano rolls nowadays, because I am way too like used to the program, this very old crappy program. So when you get used to it, like how to do things just becomes trivial. Like you know how to do everything, it's fine. You don't have to waste time. Like the less time you waste figuring out how to do things, the more time and brain power you have to come up with ideas.
Yeah, more creative you can be.
Yeah, so learn a program very well, learn how to use it. If it's like a tracker, it's fine. If it's a piano roll, it's fine. If it's like classical music notation, it's fine. If it's a bunch of dots on a piece of paper, that's fine. Just get used to it and waste less time learning how to use programs and more time like actually getting ideas.
For sure, that's great advice. It's kind of the same in, like drawing or art, painting and stuff like that. Just focus on something and, it's like when they say when you're learning instruments, if you can learn piano, you can learn everything. You know what I mean? But you got to just like stick with one instrument so that you can apply what you know from that instrument to another one. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like learning how to play an instrument, I think it's like mandatory.
Learning to play an instrument is mandatory for like, I kind of agree. It kind of gives you, it frees your mind from like the technicality of making music. Yeah,
learning how to play songs on the guitar, for example, because learning how to play guitar is one thing, learning how to play songs on it is another thing. And it kind of like
especially if you're playing Metallica,
sets up your like there's a very particular way to play Metallica, right? Master of Puppets. There has to be there is a very specific way you have to play that song, and if you learn that, you can apply that to music that you make. I'm sure that's how Bobby Prince came out with the Doom soundtrack.
True.
Right?
Well, I mean, he did steal a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, he stole a lot of shit, but getting inspired like that really helps.
Yeah.
Like learning how to play songs rather than the instrument itself.
Absolutely.
Really helps a lot.
Speaking of Bobby Prince, do you have any interest in composing music for video games, and have you done it before?
Well, this game that got cancelled was kind of like my first attempt, and it didn't work. And well, first professional attempt, because I've tried it before, but very like small projects for friends.
Yeah.
Well, there's Undertale Yellow as well that is about to come out.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, that game has been in the making since 2016.
Oh geez.
Like right after the original Undertale came out. The director Master Sword Remix started like gathering a bunch of people to make a fan made game. And it's looking amazing, and I helped with a bunch of songs for that. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
But right now, composing for games is not really a thing in my life.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want to, it's because the opportunity just is not there anymore. I mean, at the moment.
Yeah.
If like an actual indie developer wants to make something happen, would be nice. Would be very cool.
Yeah. I
think the difficulty there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think the difficulty there is that my style is very like specific. So if someone hits me up like, hey, we're making like a Mario fun game, or like a Mario type of game, like very bouncy, very fun, do you want to work with that? I would have trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's you would be relegated to the 20xx's and like the Mega Man fan games and stuff like that, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I can try to compose in different styles, but I think I perform better in the ones that I work with at the moment. Yeah,
that's fair. I have very specific memories of trying to work on a game where the guy wanted me to make like synthwave, and I didn't even know what synthwave was, you know what I mean? So I tried, and I tried not only making synthwave, but I tried making synthwave that was like 8-bit, which is nearly impossible just based on the production. But yeah, it did not turn out well, and needless to say, that project went nowhere for me. But I would love to make music for video games, but we'll see where that goes. I don't have any. I'm not like jumping at the opportunities, you know.
Yeah, well, you had that chance to like experiment, make new stuff, and that is insanely valuable, I think.
Yeah, it definitely gave me the experience to be like, okay, I need to branch out and learn more about music in general if I want to do this for real.
Yeah, you have to always pick up like the tiny little details.
Mm-hmm.
In synthwave, for example, like what kinds of instruments it uses, the typical progressions that work with synthwave, tiny little things that they do, and that you can include that are not in synthwave. You know, it's like,
yeah,
that's why I said earlier, like listening to a lot of genres and getting inspired and learning what makes them work, like really helps.
Yeah. I think you kind of answered the last question already, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyways. Do you sort of seek out commission work, or do you let it come to you?
Oh no, I just let it come to me.
Yeah.
All the commission stuff that I've done is because people contact me first.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the last time I promoted my stuff was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, do you remember when YouTube channels had like custom art?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, like in 2010 and stuff like that, I was like spamming every channel, like, hey, make video game music, check my channel out. Haha.
Yeah.
And I got a comment that was like, stop spamming. And I was hurt. I was like,
oh no,
what am I doing? And that was the last time I did it.
I mean, it's not bad to advertise, but it's at the same time, it's like people who are making music on the street, right? You know, it's like he's outside like a Subway or something, right? And like, you didn't go to Subway because you wanted to hear a dude play a bunch of music. You went to Subway because you wanted to get a Subway sandwich. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
You're already hearing the context of the music wrong. You're sitting down to hear music, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, honestly, what I did was just like, I don't know if it's the best way. Probably not. I just did my thing. I just made music that I was proud of, and I posted it on YouTube, and people started noticing.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing to do, is just post things that you're proud of and like share what you want, you know, and not what other people want. Because at the end of the day, you can't please everybody anyway, so you can do your best. That's about it.
Exactly, yeah. Like there's no way to please everybody. Like, there was an era where people were criticizing me for not respecting numbers of channels and stuff like that. That my music wasn't even like true to the consoles and everything.
Yeah.
And my whole attitude was just like, who cares? Like, it's like, I don't know. If you want to listen to like a very, very true to the limitations Mega Man X remix, there are a lot of channels that do that. There are so many channels that already do that. They have that in their channels, like making faithful recreations of music as if it played in a Super Nintendo, like no effects, no unlimited channels. So why are you talking about like the one that's just doing?
Why do I gotta be the guy to do it? You know?
Yeah.
I just want to do what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was really big back in the day, like people being like, oh, it's not, you know, it's, you know, fake. It's not accurate to the actual thing, so it's garbage. But like, it doesn't have to be accurate. It just, you know, has to be honest, I feel like, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, people gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, that era of Mynewsoundtrack is over. I don't get nearly as much hate at night right now as I did back then, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think the audience for Chiptune has grown up, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We've all sort of just been like, we've all absorbed so much music at this point as a chiptune and like video game music community that we're just like, I appreciate it for what it is at this point. Like, it doesn't have to be a specific thing. I didn't look that up, so you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Luis, for all this time that you've given me. It was way over schedule because, you know, I always say it's like an hour, but then it turns out to be much longer. So I apologize for that. But I'm so glad you got to show us your beautiful music. And I know this isn't the last time we'll hear from you. So if you want to let people know where they can find your work, or maybe they can commission you, or, you know, what social media you got going on, you go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. I didn't even notice the time.
Oh yeah, it went by so fast.
Yeah, 5 hours. I cannot believe it. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, basically. That's the main thing. Of course, YouTube as well, Mynewsoundtrack. Twitter's Mynewsoundtrack as well. That's mainly it. It's mainly the two things. If you want a commission or something, we can talk about it via emails or Twitter DMs. My commissions email is on my Twitter bio, so it's very out there, sadly. I say it sadly because of all the spam I get daily.
Oof.
It's horrible. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me, and for the new people out there, keep it going. Just have fun and make stuff you're proud of. That's the main message I want to
for sure.
Just
have fun,
at the end
make
of
stuff
this.
you're proud of. Take that to the bank. All right, well, I'll let you get on with your day, and I hope you have a great one, Luis.
I hope you have a great day too.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that Luis also appreciates it, and I hope you all have a really good day, and I'll see you next time. Later.
4, go!